episode review, my thoughts on last night's episode of Arrow titled Tribute. And again, I apologize for this video coming late. My work schedule really keeps me busy. And most nights I close, which means getting up at 9 here on the East Coast, or West Coast time. So that means getting home like 9:30, and then like I might have time to watch it before I go to bed, might not. But I just got done watching the episode this morning, and that was a pretty good episode. I mean, it definitely was a filler. So this review is probably going to end up being pretty short. And I am getting kind of tired of like Oliver's identity might be out again, because it's like they've literally have done this before and they brought this up before in the episode. So like it's a little kind of tired of that like trope of like, oh, his secret identity might be out. What's gonna happen? Like it's just gotten old. I mean, other than that, like, it was an okay episode. I did enjoy, Oliver's storyline with William, but at the same time, I don't want every week to be like, oh, William's distant with Oliver, and then by the end of the episode, there's some progress. Like, if that's gonna be the same issue again and again and again, then I'm gonna slowly start tuning out, because it's like, okay, guys, like, move the story forward. Like, I understand he's like a preteen kid or like young teenager, but like at the same time, it's like, come on, like not every episode is gonna be the exact same, and that like he's gonna be super distant with Oliver, and then Oliver's gonna say something like, oh, I'm gonna try being there for you, and then he'll be like, okay, well, we can do this together, and then episode ends. So I just want there to be more to the story than just that every week, but I still liked the story that was told in this episode between the two of them. Another storyline, I'm not sure where they're going to take, is, Diggle's storyline with the injury he got from the island. Now, he said it is nerve damage, and that's why he's been having trouble shooting in the field. And now is he even going to have the opportunity to tell Oliver about the nerve damage now that Oliver's asked him to become Green Arrow? I don't think that storyline's going to last long at all. And we'll see what they do with it. In all honesty, I said this last week too, I'm not minding Felicity as much this season, because they're kind of reverting her back to how she was in seasons 1 and 2. So far, I mean, they could easily go back to what they did at the end of 5th season, where there's been a whole episode about Oliver and Felicity hooking up past. I don't really want to see that anymore. But she's okay. I still don't understand why she was so upset that Curtis had another job. And she brought up like again and again and again and again. It's like, okay, Felicity, we get it. You don't like the fact that he has a job. Okay, shut up. So yeah, that was a little annoying. I wasn't like all into that at all, but I didn't mind her as much when she was working with Curtis. And Curtis, I didn't mind as much because he wasn't like trying to deliberately be like, oh, hey guys, I'm funny. Did you guys laugh at what I just said? Because I just said something really funny. Because I feel like that's his humor most of the time. It's like, it's so in your face. It's just like, no, it's not funny at all. And the writers don't know how to write Curtis's humor at all. I just don't like what they did with his character in terms of like that aspect. But in this episode, again, I didn't mind him. And I really wonder what they're gonna do with this whole storyline of like the FBI investigator. Obviously like investigating Oliver still. If that's gonna be like a season-long thing, or that's gonna be like resolved fairly quickly. I don't know. And this, I'm liking that this season hasn't yet established who the main villain is, because honestly, with seasons 4 of Arrow and now with seasons 3 and 4 of Supergirl and Arrow and Flash respectively, like they tease the villain from the get-go, and it's like, what happened to like the mystery of like who the villain is? Like, why do they have to tell us from the very beginning? Like, one of the things I loved about Arrow seasons 1 and 2 is that you didn't really know who was pulling the strings like behind the scenes, and you didn't know that until like the mid-season finale. And like, yes, you don't want to do the same thing again and again, but like showing the villain right up front is like, again, takes away the mystery of like what's gonna happen. And if you're telling us who the villain is like super far out in advance, I feel like it makes a villain less interesting. Like with Damien Dark, they told us who that he was gonna be the villain from way before season 4 even started. And it's like, okay, and then he ended up not being that good of a villain for Arrow. He was a better villain for Legends. I didn't like him on Arrow though. And then the same thing with like the Thinker so far this year on the Flash. Like, I really don't care, because I don't really, first of all, I don't really know much about the Thinker. He just kind of looks like a ripoff of Brainiac, and also he's just there. Like, there's no like rhyme or reasons as to why he's there yet. We don't know anything about him yet, and they're just doing this thing. But with Arrow, so far in the last 2 episodes, they haven't really. They teased that someone helped Black Siren off Lian Yu, but that's about it. We don't know who's gonna be the big bad of this season, and that's interesting to me because, again, I feel like Flash and Supergirl are doing the wrong thing, and like, oh, here's our villain for the season. We'll see what happens. Like, no, like I don't want that. When the Supergirl this season, it's that one girl who has like the kid, and like she's discovering she has powers and all this stuff, and I could really care less about that. With Arrow, I'm glad that they're kind of going back to how they did the villain in seasons 1 and 2, where like you didn't know who the villain was going to be until the mid-season finale or like midway through the season, and that's way more interesting to me because it keeps you guessing about what's going to happen like later, like as the season goes on, instead of like, oh well, here's the villain and just waiting until you see him and see how they pull it off, even though it's probably gonna be bad. Because like I feel like the last few seasons of these shows, like the villains haven't been great. Like I didn't like Terry Hatcher as a villain in Supergirl. I didn't like Savitar as a villain in The Flash. I didn't like Damian Dark as a villain in Arrow. I didn't like Ra's al Ghul as a villain in Arrow. And Zoom and Flash, it was like 50-50 for me. Like I liked the Zoom half of the character, but the Hunter's Element part could have been done a little better. I didn't hate him, but I feel like the last few years, the villains, except for Adrian Chase or Prometheus, he's been the one villain that's kind of stood out in the last few years of these few shows. But yeah, I mean that, and then the Legion of Doom as well on Legend. I think those are probably the best villains, the use of villains in the last couple of years, other than Prometheus. Yes, I think that being said, that's probably gonna be it for me. I did like this episode again. That was pretty straightforward episode. I don't know what they're gonna do with the whole Dibbles Green Arrow storyline. What's gonna happen with Oliver and William's relationship, and who was it that saved Black Siren off Lian Yu? And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So if you guys like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe below. And I do review all Flash and Supergirl on my channel. I no longer review Legends because no one was really watching those reviews, and also only like a handful of you guys watched my review of Arrow last week. So now I'm even debating whether or not I should keep reviewing Arrow. And same thing with Supergirl and Flash. You guys aren't, not to just like put pressure on you guys, but like you guys aren't really watching the videos as much anymore. And I take time out of my day to do this for you guys. And if you guys don't want me to watch these or want me to review these shows anymore, then I'm probably not going to review them anymore. Like I'll still watch them, but if the numbers aren't there for me, then I don't want to waste my time. Sorry about it. But yeah, if you guys want me to keep talking about the shows, watch them, watch my videos, share them, let people know that there's these videos out there. Because otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it because I care about what I do with my time. And that's not like a negative Nancy, but that's just the reality of the situation. But to get that out of the way, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, have a good one.